What is an energy revolution?
What should one invest in, oil or gas?
Which markets are the most stable?
When will we run out of natural gas?
Does an investor have to follow what happens in the world?
Hello, my name is Michael Bazilinsky and I am a financial advisor. Today we will be talking about investing in natural resources such as oil and gas.
Why is it important for you and your clients to know about the latest developments in their field of natural resources?
It is quite large and important sector of the market. Companies involved in exploration, development and production of natural resources could potentially prove to be excellent investments. Same as with major and emerging markets, there are senior and junior resource companies. Most people have heard of ExxonMobil, Chevron, Royal Dutch Shell, for example. These are majors in oil and gas business. There are many smaller companies in this field as well. Usually, investing in them has far more risk than majors. There are many different factors influencing share price in this field. Most of the time, it has to do with market price of underlying commodities such as oil and gas.
Is the world going to run out of crude oil, as some people predicted?
I don't think so. I have heard of upcoming shortages since Arab oil embargo in 1973. But since there are many new developments as far as finding new sources of oil and new methods of extracting it from the ground. It allows access to so-called tight oil that was uneconomical to extract earlier. There are many new oil and gas fields coming on stream all the time.
What should one pay attention to when investing in natural gas?
Until recently, the conventional wisdom was that it would be necessary to import natural gas to the US because of the strong demand and declining production. Then things started to change after American engineers in Texas came up with innovative idea best described in the sensational article America Natural Gas Revolution, published in the Wall Street Journal on November 3, 2009. Already in 2007, it became obvious to some experts that in 3 years the United States will have to import natural gas, as their reserves have been depleted. Terminals were also built to receive and store the imported liquefied gas. At the same time, some companies continued to develop ways of extracting gas located very deep underground in so-called soft rock. Companies experimented with two technologies, hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling. Means that at first it goes vertically until the deposit is reached, then horizontally, which allows to get to so-called pockets of gas, allowing production to increase. This method allows to revive idle wells where the levels of oil and gas that can be extracted by traditional methods is either impossible or marginal, as well as new oil and gas fields that were uneconomical to develop earlier. This is the revolution in the sphere of extraction of natural gas which has allowed the United States to become net exporter of hydrocarbons in 2013. Another technique is called hydraulic fracturing and involves injecting the mixture of water and sand into the well under high pressure, which allows to crush the rock, freeing the natural gas inside. Just a few years ago, the combination of these two techniques have allowed to access large deposits of natural gas at low cost of production. Latest statistics show that proven reserves of natural gas in the United States will be enough for 100 years. And this is just the start. As of today, the biggest deposits of natural gas are in the United States, in Pennsylvania, Dakota, and New York, and some other states. The US have significantly lowered their import of hydrocarbons, and as of right now are net exporters. I would like to add that significant deposits were discovered not only in the United States and Canada, but also in Europe and Asia. As it has become known, large deposits exist in Germany, Hungary, Poland, Ukraine, and other European countries. That could lead to interesting investment opportunities in companies involved in exploration, development, and production of unconventional oil and gas. Sometimes it is more advantageous for large oil companies such as ExxonMobil, Chevron, Royal Dutch Shell to buy a company that's already involved in this business rather than develop it themselves. That's why when I recommend oil and gas shares, I take a dual approach. On one hand, they have to be well positioned and profitable. On the other hand, have a potential to be acquired by bigger companies, which is beneficial for my clients.
Do environmental activists affect investments in natural resources?
Environmental activists do affect markets, but not significantly. I'm pretty sure that everybody wants clean air and water. It is also clear that alternative sources of energy, such as wind, solar, etc., are less harmful to environment than coal, for example. But in reality, the cost of production is extremely high and uneconomical compared to conventional sources of energy. Most countries in the world have to subsidize production of electricity via solar and wind. But even with government support, many of these companies are going bankrupt one after another, after suffering losses year after year. At this point, contribution of these sources of energy to consumption in the US is around 1% compared to over 40% from coal. Some reasonable environmentalists would settle for substituting coal for natural gas, which is inexpensive and increasingly abundant in the US, but many are against it. The cleanest source of energy is nuclear, but it has some risk witnessed recently in Japan with Fukushima nuclear plant. As a result, Germany, for example, has suspended construction of new plants and has a plan to phase out existing ones. But at the same time, China has 1-2 new coal-burning utilities coming on stream every week. The latest news from Japan indicate that they will build new coal-burning utilities to replace at least some nuclear ones. For them, inexpensive energy production is far more important than clean air. Besides, there are new methods of cleaning harmful gases coming from coal-burning utilities. To summarize, there is an ongoing struggle between conflicting forces in energy business. At the same time, energy sector is a very important segment of the market, and it is my job to recommend my clients suitable investments in this sector. I hope that this information is helpful to you. I'm always glad to discuss all your questions over the phone and in person. All the best.